Yeah, soldiers. It's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming at you with another podcast episode, joined by me and Drew. This is the Sage's Sanctum podcast, episode 4 or 5. Yeah, this is episode 4. I've only done 3 of these so far. So, introduce yourself, Drew.
Hi, I am Drew from What If Universe. If you want to check out my stuff, just look up What If Universe.
Yeah, no, not everybody's taking that name, of course.
Well, there's people who have similar names like What If Multiversal. There's literally a channel just called What If that's out there.
That's true.
I mean, you're not the number one search result for Anime Sage, though, if we want to talk about logistics.
I usually, actually, at times I am, but I don't think right now. Apparently, it's like this dude named Bennett the Sage when I type in my name, but like I think I'm at the top of the search results. Well, it actually fluctuates.
Yep, I got Bennett the Sage as the first result.
Dang, I hate how that fluctuates.
I just found it funny.
Oh, for me, when I typed in my name, I was the first result.
Probably because you're on your account.
But no, it wasn't like that when I was like typing in Anime Sage before. Bennett the Sage is the first result. That's weird. Oh well. Anyway, but so this is kind of more of a special. We're going to be talking about our positive thoughts on something that released today. It was the Death Note manga special. It was the one shot.
Yeah, so if you want to hear positive stuff, be here. But if you want to hear negative stuff, we have another podcast for you, for all those lovely people who like to hear our hate towards things. I don't know.
I mean, people like it when people rant about stuff, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah. All right. So, what was this? What this is mostly about? One of the pause, without trying to get into too many details, we just essentially got like a new character like Minoru Takeda, and he like teamed up with his boy Ryuk and with my boy Ryuk, and he did something that's very different from what Light Yagami did. As someone who had grown up in a post-Kira world, he decided to like get money off of the Death Note itself, yeah, instead of like trying to kill people, which I thought was an interesting concept.
I think so as well, because he literally grew up with it in his history books and stuff like this, and it's like, it makes sense for someone like him to do what he did, at least from his perspective to an extent.
Yes, I also liked how they had like these mannerisms of Ryuk. He went into like his original character, and it seems like he's still searching for that high he got when Light Yagami was the holder of his Death Note, because Minoru didn't really use it that much as Light Yagami did.
Well, in fact, he barely written it at all, which I think that kind of made Ryuk pretty sad, you know. But it's kind of interesting character development of giving the Death Note to someone who actually doesn't physically use it for what its intentional purpose was.
I think there's more to like him trying to. Yeah, I would probably say that that's definitely something interesting. He's given the dude a chance. He's more interested in seeing how humans work, especially after the Light, especially what happened with Light.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Yeah, but I really believe that this was a pretty good one shot. Now, again, we're going to be talking about the negatives here on the Renegon rant, but most of the stuff about this, in my opinion, was pretty good. It was pretty interesting. The dude kind of went into like some kind of knew how the rules of Death Note worked, and he really seemed to find a decent way to make sure that no one could track him, which he's pretty smart in that regard.
Well, consider that this takes place in like our time zone, like 10 years ahead in the future. It shows like all the cyber security, all these security cameras everywhere, like how far we advanced in 10 years, which is insane.
And it's also amazing like what would happen if people were on Twitter. Like, imagine people on Twitter having support for Kira at the time.
I mean, people are supporting him right now.
True, because people believe that he did a lot of good. And if you go back
Well,
to
I
the
meant
original,
literally on Twitter. Like, there's the hashtag that's going on at the moment we're recording this that's trying to get on trending.
hashtag Power of Kira. And it's a shame that, for me, I really liked how this character just felt like it just felt like a different. It's like I really would have liked to have seen like a spin-off series with Minoru Taka as a main character. Because imagine trying to track a guy who doesn't really use the Death Note and doesn't really kill people.
Well, I think we'll get more in depth in that the rant, but that I can see that little perspective there.
Yeah. He's a very he's a kind of an interesting character that I feel like has potential to be used in a great way.
Well, I
And
think you have to reconsider like how it ended. You have to consider how it ended because he wrote that other rule.
which we'll probably mostly talk about in the Renegon Ram podcast.
Well, I'm saying like it's important here that the rule they wrote in. It seemed like you wanted to try to get back, but that was his downfall because he isn't Kira. That's the whole ideal that I kind of got from it,
Yeah.
It's the same thing that Nier, who's now going by L, said that this isn't the same Kira. To him, it's like, even though he made defeat, he still technically won to a degree.
Man, one of the things that's crazy is like you see like Donald Trump like get the Death Note, which is freaking canon now.
I kind of think it's funny. It's also very strange, for sure, but it kind of makes sense from how it was explained in the story, honestly.
Yeah, it does occur in the modern era, but like we'll probably discuss some of the negatives that could bring up in like in the Renegon rant, because we're trying to keep it mostly positive here. But yeah, if we're trying to be more onto the side of trying to,
one other thing that I really liked, when he had that gold Shinigami guy show up saying that Ryuk was needed, that really made me think that this was supposed to be more than a one shot, but it was written that way for some reason.
That's true, but I feel like an explanation here could have been like, I feel like that was the mean that Ryuk wanted to go to, but I really felt like there could have been at least some form of like more there. Like you could have like put out the mean a little bit differently. I mean, I wanted to see like it would have been interesting to see how that mean would have actually gone in the Shinigami realm.
Well, I think it's important to consider here is that with the Shinigami that showed up, basically, we don't know exactly what Ryuk was really needed for. To an extent.
That's true.
Like, it could just be that he just wasn't taking out enough people with this new Kira pet that he found. So it's like, oh, come back to the Shinigami realm. Your guy's not doing anything.
It could be interpreted that way, but when we got into like the what actually was there, I mean,
it literally could have been anything.
It could have been anything. That there could have been so much there, like, and like I feel like that's why I want to see like Minoru like would have been like more of a character to be taken advantage to be like used, because that's interesting. Although something that I found funny was what happened to Nier.
I think with Nier it makes sense though, because once you lose Kira and everything that he wanted to investigate, you kind of lose yourself. You don't have your goals or aspirations anymore.
That's true.
Like, it makes sense. Like, he obsessed himself to become L this whole time, and even by the time he got it, he failed for this first time.
It was because the failure of L was there, and like, I mean, Mel was gone. He doesn't really have a purpose as much, so his hair like grew all the way out.
Well, he's an insider guy, kind of like L was. I just think he was just less clean than he was.
That's probably true.
Like, again, he's way younger. He would be a bit more lazier, but again, 10 years skip, so I sort of think that he would be a little bit more mature than that, but okay. But that could just fall to his personality, you know?
Maybe.
Let's see. I do think the art style, it still holds up to the original manga at minimum. Like, it looks fine. Looks clean.
It looks very aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion.
The only part I didn't like about was the camera's part, because that just looked like it was done in Photoshop. Like that little corner thing. But that's just some minor nitpick. It's not really worth the rant about, honestly.
Honestly, this is probably like one of my. This is probably good. This is a good one shot to read, and I suggest you all check it out. I mean, we're gonna have a bit of a rant on some of the stuff that would be there, but I feel like but I think overall it's a good one shot. It has its flaws, but I think it's pretty good.
Let's see, anything else you want to say?
There would be like. No, I feel like we've covered mostly everything. Like there are some good underlying themes, and such as the details that we got of like Matsuda and everybody still being able to remember and what Ryuk looked like, and how they came back into play. So that's pretty good.
Like, it's interesting they're relevant, but at the same time, they're also hopeless, sort of like the original-ish.
Yeah, the only reason Light kind of lost was because of basically off of the fact that he didn't account for Mikami. I don't really think that any of them really contributed that much, except slowly discovering who Light was when he was not being careful. But Light would have won anyways if it wasn't for Mikami.
Yeah, it's true, but I think we can end things off here overall. I would say at least read it once.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good read. And I feel like that should be the end of this review. I mean, do we have anything else to talk about?
Nah, you can close this off.
All right. This has been a very shorter episode of the Stage Sanctum podcast, but this is more of a review special. So this has been your boy Anime Stage. I'm one from What If Universe. Sign out. Peace. Your ha. Bye bye.